Well, I'm afraid to tell you for this point, guys, is the fact that August is going to come to an end until at some point tomorrow. But either way, though, this will be the last August video for the sake of this year. Hey, what's up, everyone? I am Joel here once again, and I'm back for some more yet again for the likes of the Mexi Toys videos. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Rayman Raving Rabbids 2 for the Nintendo Wii/PC. So last time we have managed to able to explore around on South America by able to once again playing some more minigames on that particular trip. And also we did manage to tackle through probably the longest shooting range of the whole entire game, which appears to be Greatest Hits. So today, this will be the grand finale of this Let's Play, because I say that because despite this game is like really short in comparison to the forms of the first game, but because of that though, excuse me, that about the fact the matter is though, is the fact that, oh yeah, by the way, for those question marks over there, these are customizable trips, so even though you can able to customize your very own trips if you want, but for me, I'm might as well able to actually just to go for a standard, you know, playthroughs and stuff. So either way though, let's begin Tropics, the final selections of minigames, I suppose, in terms of trips. So, anyway, so, yeah, we just have to able to actually just to, well, swing the Wii remote and then just try to able to follow certain movements and stuff. I think fundamentally speaking, this is the only minigame I haven't exactly unlocked yet, so, but either way though, this minigame is actually called Swimsuit Edition. I think that's what the minigame itself is called. So yeah, basically in this minigame is that obviously it's like a swimming contest, so you have to make it through, I would say 3 phases, or in this case, in the sake of time, that we need to go around the track for 3 times, or in this case in particular 4 times I should say, because, well, it always kind of reminds me of Mario Melody from Mario Party 4, except rather than just using buttons, instead we have to use motion controls, and also, as you can tell, every time you swim, that your points will be decreasing every time you swim, and because of that, if you manage to able to actually get enough points, then you should able to actually achieve your high scores. So even then though, yeah, Swimsuit Edition, that's the other minigame that we managed to play through. And also we've managed to unlock a new costume for Rabbit right here. And it kind of reminds me of that particular hat from the likes of, well, SpongeBob SquarePants kind of thing about it. When SpongeBob managed to able to work a Krusty Krab. But even then, it kind of reminds me of that. And also we got ourselves another costume too, based off from the sailor. So, Dizzy Race, keep your balance right to the finish line. So tilt the Wii modes left or right to steer yourself to keep balance. And that's as far as I can usually think about this is. And by the way, I think this is the one of those trips that we might able to actually just to play a lot of racing minigames, kind of thing about it. Because unlike the previous trips, that basically sometimes is all about score based or something. That again though, it has been a couple of days since on I would say on Thursday that I've last touched upon this. Oh wait, no, scratch that. It was actually on Friday that the last time we touched upon this. So yeah. And this obviously takes place in the some sort of like a magma mountain, but either way though. And also as you can see on screen, that we're actually gonna be well, as you can tell, that since we are still playing as Rayman of all things, basically I did recently manage to change his costume into some sort of like an Arabian kind of inspired by, focused onto that. And because of that though, I just feel like just trying to able to, well, dressed up as like an Arabian kind of costume. Because I thought, why not? And that's as far as I can say about it. So anyways, so once again we've achieved first place on that high score. So even that out, that should be pretty swell if I have to say so for myself right there. And I think we're actually getting ourselves, I would say this is the final Rabbid in the whole entire game. Like, naturally speaking, the final unlockable Rabbid, even though it's all cosmetic and everything like that. But again, it's pretty cool whenever you're trying to able to play multiplayer and such. Alright, Trash Race, jump to the finish line, and yeah, we need to use the nunchuck for this one. And another one of those racing games, as far as I'm aware. So swing the Wiimote and nunchuck at the same time to jump, find the right timing to jump further. this minigame can get pretty tricky if you really want to go for a high score, because again, the only goal victory about this is that obviously we have to time it very perfectly until you're able to actually jump a bit further, so I guess that makes it a little bit obvious for the sake of clarity right there. And it looks like Rayman is trying to mess around with that particular monkey, if anything else, even though that we need to obviously try to able to get to the finish line and such. I gotta say, it's the fact that some of these minigames can, well, usually relatively speaking, it's the fact that we did manage to play certain minigames in a quickest amount of time, which even then though it might be very noticeable sense whenever you're trying to able to go through some of these racing minigames and such. Oh, can I even make it? Nope, I don't think I can make it because most of the time it's the fact that my timing on these jumps wasn't exactly accurate. But, on the other hand, I at least managed to claim second place. But that's fine by me, because either way though, there's going to be some more minigames that we might able to actually just to play through a bit. And that's as far as I can usually just try to able to think about it. So, I really can't guarantee we can able to get the high score for this entire trip, but we'll see what happens until whenever we finish up with this entire trip. So, Voodoo Rabbit, dig the deepest hole. So basically, we just have to able to, well, grab, you know, some pile of dirt and then just try to able to toss it into any other players' dirt. Or, yeah, specifically for that such. Again, it has been a while since I actually done some of my commentary and all that stuff, ever since on Friday, just because of how the fact that, well, we're just busy just playing certain stuff, as you expect. And also, because of how the fact that, you notice how the fact that in the past few days ago, that, basically, well, ever since in, yesterday or something, recently we've managed to able to actually just to see some stuff in Gamescom 2020, and we did see a lot of information about the forms of certain titles. Well, to be more specifically, sadly, it's going to be once again third-party support, which it's understandable when it comes to the forms of certain sales for that regard. However, though, once again, unfortunately, it's the fact that Nintendo doesn't announce anything new about it. Especially noticeable how the fact that, well, as far as I can tell, is the fact that, well, because of this stupid pandemic and stuff like that, and because of that, though, it just really ruins the whole entire Nintendo fans community, which, as a result, I could able to actually just try to able to predict that, you know, certain exciting things were about to come, but nope, that's not the case here, sadly, so. And I get a feeling it's the fact that I don't think I can able to get the top #1 high score because, well, I can tell from the fact that because every time whenever you get someone else's dirt on you, basically you would able to subtract points. So yeah, definitely another one of those minigames is actually the hardest minigame to get high score on because, well, again, you have to be super ridiculously fast and stuff like that in order to able to achieve that particular high score. But then again, though, I was a little bit slow at points. RRR Extreme Beach Volley. And basically, we have to swing the Wii remote to hit the ball, and a right timing gets us a better hit. And then basically press the A button to jump as well. Out of all the actual minigames we're going to be running into, this is by far one of my least favorites. I mean, it's nothing bad or anything, it's just that, well, there's a little bit of a problematic, I feel like, for the sake of the forms of this minigame, and then you probably know why until whenever we're able to play the actual minigame itself. And because of this, though, think of like, Beach Volley Frolly from the likes of Mario Party 4 and Mario Party 5 as well, and even especially noticeable with, Beach Volleyball. Well, that was before when, Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games. And even well, specifically Rio 2016 Olympic Games, that those games did manage to able to actually get themselves the beach volleyball events or mini games in Mario Party 1, oh no, Mario Party 4 and 5, including the top 100 as well. That basically they managed to handle the beach volleyball stuff no problem to me. But the thing about with this minigame is that, well, for one noticeable thing or another, is the fact that the biggest issue I have with this particular minigame is its repetitiveness. Like, even then though, all you have to do here is the fact that we have to obviously try to able to win the beach volleyball, basically. And, that makes it a little bit simple stuff, though, basically. However, though, there are two major problems I have with this minigame. For one, well, actually, three problems I have with this minigame, actually. For one thing, is the fact that, as you can tell, is the fact that the reason why this video length has actually gone ridiculously long in comparison to the forms of the previous 4 parts, is that, for the love of God, this minigame drags. Like, literally just dragged on a little bit. Especially because of this, though, if you keep on letting, obviously you might as well able to try to get points, and, because of that, though, most of the time, computer players are super good at it, and plus, because of this specific stuff, speaking of computer players, basically, problem number 2 is the fact that, depending if, the computer players are doing super well at this minigame, oh man, if you think you might able to actually just try to able to win this, no problem. But this is on normal mode, and because of this though, they obviously know what they're doing. Or actually, there's also another issue, which I'll get into more on that later. But from now on, they just managed to able to make the game a little bit more dragged on in comparison to most, volleyball minigames from the likes of the Mario parties in the past. And even especially noticeable, don't forget, before when, Mario Sports Mix was a thing in volleyball, most likely. And then because of that, though, well, it's hard to explain about it sometimes, because again, it's been a while since I actually done some of my commentary and stuff like that, so... And, third, annoyingly enough, is the fact that, well, the third problem for me, though, and especially annoyingly, is the fact that sometimes the actual weird, collusions, especially noticeable how the fact that, I swear, I was gonna able to actually toss up the actual watermelon and then trying to able to actually just to try to spike it onto the other side of the actual court. And because of this though, sometimes I swear the watermelon just always goes onto the far off of the court, and most of the time it just gets pretty messy most of the time for the sake of this minigame, as you can tell. And fourth, and perhaps the most annoying thing for me, that I swear to God, my timing wasn't exactly precise. Like, specifically, I was able to try to aim for this flashy point, but then, if I was trying to able to actually swing the Wii mode and all that stuff though, and it just wasn't fast enough when it comes to responsive inputs. And because of that though, this is one of my least favorite minigames. Although, it's not incredibly luck-based, luckily, but it's just that it just feels kind of frustrating when if you're trying to able to win the majority of the points, and I have no idea how many points they have to reach in order to able to actually get this minigame to be ended and over with. And yeah, it's just a little bit dragged on, and especially noticeable because of that, I just have no idea for this fact. So I suppose there are some quite a few. Yeah, this is what I mean right there. That sometimes the watermelon's collusion detection is actually gone sometimes messy, especially on, I would say in normal mode it only happens, which I haven't really played that much of this game because again it's been donkey's years since I've actually last touched upon this game after when our white Wii's been broken to able to actually just to play Wii games, although the only time we still use the white Wii is the fact that, well, just play, yeah, the physics right there, it really messes up. So yeah, that's the only thing I really not a big fan of this minigame, especially because I found it very finicky actually, especially how that's, you know, because of this though, I swear, whenever I managed to able to play this game on my own time, back in long time ago, and then whenever I play Tropics Trip, I seriously swear to God, I always come across into this minigame a lot, in the sake of the actual trip runs. And because of that though, yeah, you can expect to believe of how long this will take, especially noticeable how the fact that the game doesn't really tell you what the actual, how much points you have to reach. Well, unlike the ones in, well, specifically in Mario Party 4 and Mario Party 5, that you have to get a certain amount of points until you're able to finish the minigame, including Mario Party the Top 100 as well. And also in Mario and Sonic at the London 2012 Olympic Games and Rio 2016 Olympic Games as well. And even Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, well, only in 1964 mode. That's the event called Volleyball, and you have to get a certain amount of points. And similarly, Mario Sports Mix, as in volleyball sports, we have to get a certain amount of points as well. And yeah, that's as far as I can say about this minigame, honestly, guys. It's just the fact that matters, though, I'm just not a big fan of this variation of volleyball, because it just... yeah, this moment right there is just really sucky. Even with, you know, the weird collusion detection right there, so... because I swear, it always happens to me. But, on the other hand, though, is the fact that we can able to discuss on other things. Like, for instance, recently, about the fact the matter is, though, is the fact that we actually got ourselves on new features in terms of Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time, which appears to be flashback tapes, which is a pretty cool feature, which I don't know exactly what this is going to be used for, but even then, let me know in the comments below to see if how the fact that what these flashback tapes can able to do. In fact, because of this though, we've only got about almost a month left until Crash Bandicoot 4 It's About Time we're about to be releasing. So even then, I'm still looking forward to it though, especially noticeable because, well, it has been forever since, well, ever since in, well, really? That's really screwed up right there. And, yeah, it's already over. Ah, thank God that minigame is over. I think the game managed to end, or the minigame I should say, is about to end until whenever you reach for about 16 points, but despite the fact that I said this before, sometimes you always have to deal with the actual weird collusion detection, which even then though, that's always been the actual major problem I have with it. Alright, Teenager in Love, which, you know, standard stuff though, we can just once again play instruments. And this time around, we're going to be playing as the drum kids, because, well, I gotta say for this point, is the fact that out of all the actual musical performance, in the sake of Rayman, Raving, Rabbids 2, so far, this is one of the easiest ones, because, well, despite that, it doesn't matter what instruments you might able to choose, that, every single now and then is the fact that, well, basically, they just get like 1-star difficulty in terms of what instruments you're about to be using, which is super odd kind of thing about it, but at the same time, I don't mind about this too much, because despite that we actually did come across into some, well, bad mini-games and such, well, some of them are, but it's just the fact that, well, it's a nice little throughout moment, so either way though, yeah, as far as I can usually say about this, so even then, I gotta say, I actually really love this particular song, even though, again, I really can't afford to able to actually listen to this for you guys, because again, I might get ourselves a copyright blocks, which even then though, that makes it a little bit more common these days, but even then though, I just want to point things out right away, because even then though, in order to able to listen to that, you have to look it up for yourself, so even then though, for those of you wondering what this sounds like, well, I'm sorry, you have to able to search it for yourself, so even then though, it's called Teenager in Love, so even then though, you can able to always look it up, so either way though, a few things I want to explain about this also is the fact that recently, as I said this since the very beginning of this part, recently today it is the 31st of August today, in this case in 2020, in this case the final day of August, and then tomorrow we'll be heading over to September, which, kind of think about it, we're almost nearly at the end of this disaster year of 2020, and because of that though, yeah, that's what I can try to able to discuss on that. And yes, also because of how the fact that if you're following through our, well, since that Daffy has already just managed to able to gone through 5 boards so far in Mario Party, and because of that though, he did mention about the fact that he did went to swimming during the other day, and don't worry, recently we have managed to able to avoid the stupid COVID-19 kind of stuff. Because of that though, we are in a safe distance, and the good thing about swimming is the fact that, taking a notice from the actual Olympic events, on the swimming events most likely, they did manage to able to actually get ourselves the our own line, which even then though, because of that though, that you know, with these little barriers that you can't able to actually go to the other side of the pool, And because of that, though, I'm actually fully intrigued. Because of that, though, we just want to stay safe. That's all there usually does matters for us the most. But either way, though, that's all I can think about it. And wow, we actually did manage to reach for about 13 or more points, or 13,000 or more points, which is kind of cool, kind of thinking about it. But then again, though, it's one of the easiest song performances in the whole entire game. But until whenever we get on to the very end of this Let's Play, well, I'll discuss more on that later. But from now on, we got ourselves a awesome results. So either way though, I really can't guarantee I can able to actually just to make it to that high score for that entire trip. Because, you know, we did screw up on a multitude of things. Like, for instance, the digging up minigame. As well as, you know, nah, I don't think we can make it for this point. So, oh well. And also, we did manage to get screwed over on our extreme volleyball kind of minigame because, you know, still, it's just the fact that it's quite difficult because of, you know, collusion detection aside. And that pretty much takes care of every single trips of how this game offers us. But before we move on to the final shooting range, it's the fact that there are once again certain minigames that we haven't exactly got yet, or haven't exactly saw yet. First one is the Snail Race, and also we have not played is, I would say, Hot Cake, and finally TNT. Although, first off, we'll be playing through for the sake of the minigames that we have not played yet, and that's what appears to be Snail Race. Cheer your snail on in order to reach the finish line, so shake the Wiimote to cheer the snail on. So yeah, it's hard to use the Wiimote on its own for this one, so either way though, and as you can see, we're able to now going to be selecting that Rabbids that plays like, almost like a soldier almost. But either way though, we'll go ahead and leave it to that. So yeah, all you have to really do here is basically how to do a lot of Wacklefest for this minigame. So nothing too special about it, apart from the fact that basically it gives you a lot of exhaustion whenever you're trying to able to wackle the Wiimote all the time. And conveniently enough, yes, I did manage to reach for a high score. How's that for that? Especially noticeable that how the fact that unlike the other three minigames that we didn't seem to able to get the high score with, most notably because of how the fact that with the timing and what have you, and plus you have to be super fast on that specific stuff. And we actually did manage to unlock another costume as well. So, but either way though, that's Snail Race. Pretty simple, self-explanatory minigame. Then let's move on to Hot Cake. And conveniently enough though, is the fact that this is one of those survival kind of minigames or something. So either way though, don't get the Hot Cake. And we have to use the nunchuck for this one. Hold the nunchuck to use the control stick to move, and swing the Wiimote to hit. And you can't hit when you're carrying the cake. So yeah, I do apologize, but the actual commentary has got a little bit more dried up at the moment because again, it's just the fact of the matter is though, is the fact that we're just getting sick of the forms of bare bones discussions to think of. Even for Nintendo fans out there, just managed able to find this particularly that might find it a little bit more upsetting at least. So, and basically we need to just avoid the actual hot cake. That's what the minigame applies us to. Oh really? They just get me straight away. Although luckily to get points in this minigame though, or especially if you really want to get a high score, that you really can't afford to get hit just once or something. Although most of the time I just always get hit twice so far for this minigame. And it's pretty simple if you manage to get the hang of it though. But what makes this a little bit difficult is the fact that you have to like specifically try to go too fast, and then because of that you always have to try to aim for one of those 3 random CPU or computer player rabbits, and that way you would be able to not subtract as much points as possible. So because of that though, it's definitely a little bit trickier, but when you get the hang of it though, it's actually not too bad actually. So either way though, and it's actually quite a lot of fun too, even though I kind of wish I could able to play this with my friends, or well, specifically with Stuart with Cap King 74, but as far as I'm aware, it's the fact that he's obviously now in self-isolated for the moment because of, you know, the stupid pandemic. And Yeah, it's just the year itself is just a lot of mess. And we actually got ourselves a gingerbread rabbit outfit, which is pretty cool. Even though I would able to actually just to play as that particular costume until, let's just say, whenever I get back into this game at some point in Christmas time or something. But then again, we'll see what happens there. Anyways, the last minigame that we have not seen yet, in terms of Tropics categories of minigames, and that would appear to be TNT. And basically, we need to push the plunger at the last moment. And basically, we have to shake the Wiimote to push the trigger, and that's all we have to do. Pretty simple, self-explanatory with this minigame, but obviously you really want to try to able to aim for closest time as possible, specifically where it gets like 0 seconds at will. Even though that sometimes the timing requirements does give you a lot of time to react, so... And it looks like for that specific scene that he might able to get blown up. And he's in outer space. And I think you only get like 3 rounds in this minigame, which it kind of feels like similar to the ones in you know, with that photo booth minigame in Europe, except the fact that, well, we just have to keep an eye on with the actual timer limit. So yeah, that's how it goes basically for the sake of this minigame. So alright, let's see if we can able to try to get the high score from this minigame. In fact, it's actually pretty easy when you get the hang of it. But if you manage to let the time run out into 0, basically you can't get points out of it. So either way though, you have to be extremely dead on with the timing until you're able to actually just decide to activate the plunger. Well, at least specifically, the trigger of the actual TNT. And that way you would be able to actually get the amount of points as you can see here. And conveniently enough, I actually did manage to get my high score. So either way though, I wonder what the next costume we might able to unlock. Even then I might as well find out for myself once we're able to actually leave this minigame. Oh boy, we got ourselves a Halloween costume, I say. Even though I might as well able to use that at some point during that Halloween, but at the same time I need to get back into Luigi's Mansion 3. Because, you know, that game is heavily... Oh yeah, I do apologize for that capture card glitches and such. But anyway, let's just move on to the next thing, which appears to be... I have no idea why I just double check around here. It's clearly because... Well, if you think we might able to actually unlock the final thing, but we have to go for this particular shooting range first, which appears to be Paris Monturjos, which I do apologize for that particular... shooting range minigame, come to think about it. And conveniently enough, this is the final shooting range minigame we might able to play. And because of that though, once again we still need to shoot out a lot of Rabbids. And as far as I can tell correctly, it's the fact that this is more likely the continuation of the Paris shooting range game part 1. Now I say that because you remember where we did manage to already come across into that sheriff from the likes of the first part of the Paris shootout gallery kind of minigame? Well, we do need to chase after him now, because you remember how we managed to come across into a to be continued sequence during the forms of that particular, you know, ending conclusion to that. But regardless of everything else though, we'll definitely go after him for reals this time. And conveniently enough is the fact that this might actually be one of the shortest shooting range in the whole entire game, because, you know, unlike the greatest hits, I consider this to be one of the longest in terms of the shooting range minigames in this game. But apart from those side of things though, is the fact that, oh god, I forgot about this guy over there. Even though sometimes you're always just trying to toss something at me, which either way though, thankfully it's not too noticeable when it comes to trying to deal with them. But I digress. I guess there's not much else I can talk about this for this point, guys. Apart from the fact that we'll let some toy sales can able to actually just to tackle through the next new Let's Play at some point on Wednesday. Even though we're not going to spoil things too much, unless if you look upon on our About category on our YouTube channel, which either way though, you might as well able to find out until soon enough. But either way though, oh dear me, sorry I'm a little bit tired for this point, just because, well, it's actually pretty cold, almost. Well, nowhere near as cold as yesterday was, but even then though, because despite the fact that, well, summer is almost going to end. But at the same time, it's the fact that we might able to actually expect to able to now come across into autumn season at this rate until at some point in the future. But either way, we got ourselves some sort of a, well, the actual plunger grenade or something, which even then though, that way we would able to actually shoot them instantly. So yeah, that's as far as I can think about it. Oh jeez. Anyways, let's try and take down this little shooting kind of thing, or this ship I should say. Again, the dialogue on this, for the sake of the forms of this commentary, is a little bit too obscured compared to the forms of how it does it in, well, the previous videos. Well, specifically for this game, as well as, you know, Mario Party and stuff like that, but either way though, because there's not much else to speak of, especially how, you know, bare bones this year can be. Even for the likes of Nintendo fans like myself. So, you know. And also, I just realized something, is the fact that since I've managed to, once again, aim at the right rabbit, kind of thing about it. Oh yeah, I forgot about something, is the fact that I think in order to able to get the trophy, for the sake of the actual, the shooting range minigames, is that I'm presuming in addition to able to try to aim for the high score or something, ensuring that some form or another, but it's also the fact that in order to able to get the trophy for the actual shooting range minigames, you also need to able to find the right rabbit in order to able to get the trophy icon onto your shooting range, because that's the reason why we managed to able to get ourselves the trophy icon in greatest hits shooting range. But I could assure you, I think I managed to able to actually just well, able to actually get ourselves the next outfit for or the next costume, I should say, for, you know, specifically for the rabbit, which even then, though, it might be seems pretty obvious, so either way, though, we'll, go ahead and leave it to that. And it looks like we're almost there to the actual ending portion of this, this minigame, or this little shooting range, I should say. And because of that, though, we might able to bump into, the sheriff at some form or another, as you can see in our little cinematic scene. And there he is, just right here. So hopefully we'll give him ourselves a little bit of a payback after the events of the first part of the actual shooting range minigame from Paris. In fact, it was actually really easy if you manage to get the pattern down, but the only thing that makes things a little bit trickier for you is the fact that obviously with the hit detection with, you know, with the in-game models or graphics or something. And let's see if we can try to able to shoot him. There we go. So I think you can only hit him for about 3 shots, which even then are very similar to the previous boss that we've already done in greatest hits. And to top it all off is the fact that, well, we just have to, well, try our best if we're able to actually just try to aim for that specific stuff. But then again, there's not much else I can say, sadly, because even then, well, at least we did manage to able to, oh, no, okay, okay, thank you. Whew. That was a little bit too close right there, especially I've almost gonna able to, almost trying to screw myself a little bit worth noting for. So, but at least even then though, we almost at the very end of this Let's Play right now, so even then though, because of that though, there's not much else I can talk about this, apart from a couple of Gamecom announcements and stuff like that. But I will have to say, it's the fact that, in new forms of last year, as well as 2018, in terms of Gamescom announcements or something, at least for those 2 years, is actually pretty solid. However though, for 2020 on Gamescom is actually a little bit lackluster this time around in my opinion, because, again, with the lack of Nintendo infos or anything else like that resides, and because of that though, it just felt almost like, although it does have some good highlights, like specifically, the gameplay footages of the new Ratchet & Clank Raft Apart for the PlayStation 5. And I gotta say, it does look pretty cool though. Even though I'm probably not gonna pick it up though, just because, well, I haven't exactly owned that much of Ratchet & Clank games, I have to be honest here. Okay, so let's see if we can get his last shot in, and there he goes. And conveniently enough, we actually reached for his high score, so even then though, that should be pretty swell. And he did manage to fart around, and, well, specifically, he's going to, well, trying to able to, well, get crashed and stuff with a very weird spaceship, so, there we go. That concludes the final shooting range minigame as far as I can see for this point. And, well, we are basically done here. So either way though, let's see what the next costume... Oh, we actually got ourselves the final minigame, which appears to be... Oh yeah, we can able to actually get ourselves the extra song, and to get to that, we have to go into free play mode. Oh yeah, this is the Fire Brigade Rabbit or something. And also we got ourselves this particular outfit for the Rabbit, as you can see here. So, before we end this off, especially noticeable with, you know, just trying to show off some extra things and stuff, well, we can able to actually just hop on to the final minigame in the entire game, and let's play as Rayman for this one. And, actually, no way, let's play as the Assassin's Creed, we'll play as that soldier again. And, look at that, we actually got ourselves the final song in the whole game, which appears to be Funky Town. Or, wait, Funky Song? I don't know. It's been a while since I actually did manage to... Oh yeah, Funky Town. And you get the idea, basically the same stuff as before, except now this is going to be one of the most toughest minigames to play through. Or the toughest songs, I should say. I would normally try to able to play as, well, the drums and stuff, but I might try my best for going up for the challenge by able to actually just to go through, the electric guitar and stuff like that. And I think I've actually remembered this song actually. In fact, it was actually from Shrek 2, from what I've remembered, when Shrek and Fiona and Donkey managed to finally arrived in faraway land, or far away land. And because of that though, because you know, Fiona's parents is trying to invite the love couple to the actual far away. So either way though, that makes it pretty obvious for that point. And actually gotta say, still I think Shrek 2 is by far one of the best sequels ever. At least for most fans out there will all obviously agreed. Especially how good the first film went, and I actually adore the second one. However though, the third film is pretty trash in my opinion, and the fourth one is mediocre at best. But yeah, as far as I can say about it. So either way though, yeah, once again we have to time our notes and stuff like that. And oh boy, this is gonna get a little bit tricky and difficult because, well, sometimes again my nunchuck does have a lot of issues, and also because my timing wasn't exactly precise enough when it comes to those little notes and stuff like that. So even then though, because of that, yeah, it does take a lot of practice on it sometimes. Oh jeez, maybe next time I'm also able to go for the drum set next time, because with electric guitar as well as I'm pursuing the lyrics as well, might able to be also kind of be tough, but even then I might as well do that on my own time, even for likely for so that I'm also able to actually just trying to focusing on high score amounts during the actual you know, unlockable methods or something. So and yeah, that's as far as I can usually say when it comes to the forms of Funky Town song. In fact, kind of thinking about it though, is the fact that in order to able to actually just unlock this minigame, or even the final song in particular, obviously we have to play all of the minigames, including all the shooting range minigames, which, whenever I first time I played this game, I did not know if that was exist. But until whenever I discovered recently during the forms of today, that I did manage to research about the fact that yes, this song exists, but to do that though, you have to play through all of the minigames, including the shooting games as well, and that way you would be able to actually access to the final song in the game. And I'm gonna say that right now, this is one of the hardest songs to able to go for 100% for, you know, trying to achieve the high score or something. So I'm not exactly sure if this is possible if you can able to play this on the trips mode, but I don't think you can though, just because you obviously still need to play through Teenager in Love song during at the end. So yeah, that's as far as I can try to able to discuss on this fact. But you know, you get the idea for that little topic's worth noting for. So either way though, and that's the actual award. If you do manage to able to try to go for the song, well, more power to you. So either way though, something's worth mentioning as well too is the fact that you notice that we keep on getting a lot of combos, likely 149 at the moment. But if you try to able to hit for a green circle, basically it does count as combo. But if you somehow manage to hit the yellow circle outline, basically it does not count as the actual combo streak. So either way though, something's worth to talk about, and yeah, that's as far as I can think about it. So either way though, and I get a horrible feeling I'm probably not gonna make it to that, yeah, but I don't think I can make it to the high score, so... Oh well, I did try my best, especially noticeable that maybe next time I might as well go for the easy, normal, you know, the easier guitar instrument, or no, drums instrument I should say. But oh well, bigger cells can be choosers, and yeah, I did literally try my best, so... And that's pretty much it, especially noticeable that we've played every single minigames of how this game offers us to. So, but either way though, that's all I can really just try to discuss upon it. So even then though, let's go ahead and leave this particular section over there. And before we end this off, it's the fact that there are some things I'd like to show you. First off, as I said before, there's actually a trip customization you can able to customize. I think you can only select up to 6 of them, I'm presuming, which I think that's what the actual thing represents for. And also is that there's also the jukebox, which you can able to listen to some of these cool songs and stuff like that. Even though, again, I'm probably not going to play on them, just because, again, I'm probably not going to get, you know, copyright strikes and all that stuff, though. So I just want to point things out right away. And also, there's the character customization, which, as we said this before, you can able to actually customize your very own, not only Rayman, but also the Rabbids themselves as well. Let's just say, for example, is the fact that we can able to customize this Rabbid as in... Actually, let's not go for that. Oh, this could be interesting. We actually can able to actually change that into... Let's just say a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of outfit for the sake of that Rabbid. And that way you can able to customize your very own Rabbids, which I think you can only just manage to customize for about quite a few, well, I don't know, it's hard to explain that about it sometimes. Again, most of these costumes are locked, and again, in order to able to unlock most of these Rabbids costumes, including Rayman's costume as well, basically you have to able to actually achieve high scores in certain minigames, so that's all you really have to aim for the sake of able to actually just unlock everything. So, and with that being said, let's hit on to the credits mode, and, well, that's pretty much about it in terms of Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. So let's talk about my final thoughts of this game. This game was actually pretty fun, I'm not gonna lie, even though most people found this to be a little bit overrated compared to the original game, which is kind of understandable for circumstances, but most of the time though, I actually really enjoyed this game. Even though despite there are some issues, which is maybe more likely common, but let's get into the good stuff. Certain minigames, most notably with the bike race minigame, as well as the shopping cart race is actually pretty fun, and even certain racing minigames I always enjoy. Although there are some minigames I despise the most, likely for the actual potion kind of minigame in Europe, or the Little Chemist, that's what the minigame is called, and also that, what's another minigame that I despise the most? Oh yeah, the Volleyball minigame because of the collision detection error, and also same applies to that, specifically, certain motion control minigames can throw you off a little bit, but I will have to admit though right away though is the fact that nothing really completely ruins it for me. But apart from those side of things though, the visuals do look alright, even though it might be a little bit outdated now, especially noticeable because we are now moving on to the next generation of consoles, as you probably guys should know, especially we are now on to still Nintendo Switch and stuff like that. And also because of this though, the soundtrack is actually pretty alright and such, even though there are some cool tracks here and there, which again, that is actually based off from those real music and stuff like that. And also, the story, it's nothing groundbreaking or anything like that compared to the first game. But apart from those side of things though, I found this game to be pretty good. Even though, as I said before, there are a few negatives I can think of, is that I will have to say is the fact that the shooting range minigames, despite there are only 5 of them this time around, I will have to say that these shooting range minigames obviously disappoints me, because although despite it does manage to take place in reality world this time, but because of that though, I just found it a little bit questionable, especially noticeable with real real-life footage in addition to everything else that resides, and it's just hard to explain sometimes, but either way though, that's all I can really say about it. So yeah, you can definitely recommend getting this game, unless if you still have the Wii or the Wii U, if you're most able to be lucky enough to try to get it. In fact, it's actually pretty cheaper these days now, although before warning is the fact that you obviously have to wash your hands if you're obviously just trying to able to avoid the COVID-19 viruses and stuff, and I do apologize for the actual graphical glitch right there on my capture card recording, but because, you know, I just really need to get this thing sorted. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for watching of our Let's Play of Rayman Raving Rabbids 2. I did have a bit of a fun experience playing this, especially noticeable that it's been a long time since I actually did finally manage to get into this game, especially noticeable just getting to the actual series in general. So, but either way though, that's all I can really think about this for the sake of this game. Of course, there's a DS version, which I obviously ignored that, just because, well, obviously I just prefer the console version in my opinion, because again, it's just for my personal preference, so even then that's all I can say about it. So I guess, next up, in terms of the Rayman Raving Rabbids series of games, up next it will be Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party. I almost said 3 for some reason, despite the fact that was actually the third installment of the Rayman Raving Rabbids series as far as minigame compilations are concerned. Even though originally I was able to play Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle, but I haven't exactly completed that game yet, just because there's a lot of strategy errors I've actually come across into, but nothing to be wrong about it, it's just that I need to get a little bit more practice sometimes. But with that being said though, next up it will be Rayman Raving Rabbids TV Party, which expectedly it'll be on until next year if possible. But then again, we'll see what happens during at some point until next year. At least we're hoping next year will be a hell of a lot more better than he films about does it in 2020 was. So this is me, Joel, here from the likes of the Maxi Toys, and until then, I will see you guys until at some point soon. So even then, that will be pretty much something in guarantee for the sake of the films that specific stuff. But before this Let's Play will be finished, I'll let you guys enjoy this particular short movie once the credit sequence is done. So yeah, see you then.
Yeah.